Dragon Ball Z is a truly groundbreaking, revolutionary, and beloved shonen anime that first aired in 1989 and is based on the manga of the same name. Written and illustrated by the late and truly great Akira Toriyama, may he rest in peace. The series is absolutely iconic and served as a cornerstone and inspiration for all shonen battle anime that followed it. It broke new ground in the Western markets and helped popularize anime outside of Japan in a way not really seen before this time, at least not at this same scale. We've all heard of this anime. Myself and likely many of you watching grew up with it, but how has it aged, and is it honestly worth picking up from the beginning and still watching today? It's a question that has no chance of angering anyone, so let's dive right in. Let's get this straight right out of the gate. I love Dragon Ball Z. I grew up watching Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon before I'd even heard of the word anime. I own the entire show on Blu-ray. Hell, I've even got Goku on my Crocs. But I'm going to try and be as objective as possible here. Dragon Ball Z has not aged as well as you may think it has, and it has a number of issues we're going to discuss briefly that you should consider before picking it up. The story of Dragon Ball Z is primarily focused around Goku, an exceptionally powerful fighter and Earth's savior from the original Dragon Ball series. We learn early on that Goku is a Saiyan, an alien race of elite fighters, and is thus capable of incredible power that dwarfs that of humans on the planet, and we follow him on his journey to eradicate the increasingly daunting villainous entities that continuously threaten the Earth and its inhabitants. That story, however, while full of lovable characters whom I cherish, is terribly paced at times. I'm sure you've seen the memes, but DBZ is pretty well known for not just filler content, but unbelievably slow build-ups over many episodes before an eventual climax. One of my favorite examples is when Frieza says a particular planet is going to explode in 5 minutes, and it still takes like 9 or 10 full episodes before the thing actually blows. Now don't get me wrong, there's some awesome stuff in those episodes, but you can feel the clock ticking sometimes as fighters just stare at each other for minutes on end. This was fine when we were 12 years old watching cable TV, but in the modern era where you literally die if your brain isn't stimulated every 5 seconds, it hasn't aged the best, and it feels sluggish at times. Animation quality in DBZ ranges from absolutely abysmal to some of the sickest shit ever painted on a celluloid sheet, depending on which outsourced studio was handling that particular episode and who was directing it, which can result in some serious whiplash between episodes. The voice acting is awesome, though I'm insanely biased towards the English dub, and each version of the soundtrack has its own fanbase that swears it's the best. You should know, though, that if you want to watch this show, your options can be a bit limited, depending on the source that you choose. Truly, every physical version of DBZ ever put into print has issues. Color grading, artifacting, terrible denoise filtering, ridiculous cropping, film degradation. There are issues with all of them, but thankfully at the very least, multiple versions are still widely available for purchase. Though certainly not the most authentic in terms of, well, anything, the Blu-ray set offers up an easily accessible format that has both soundtracks, including the Western Bruce Faulkner soundtrack in 5.1 Dolby Surround. If you want a better quality version than the Blu-ray, you can snag a Dragon Box set from eBay. Just note that it lacks the English broadcast music, costs way more, and is DVD instead of Blu-ray, so there is inherently a greater risk of the discs being scratched up when they arrive if you bought it used. DBZ is also available to stream on Crunchyroll, but again, it lacks the Western broadcast music of the Bruce Faulkner soundtrack, if that matters to you. So, do I recommend that you watch DBZ in 2025? Before I give you my final thoughts, I just wanted to say that I really appreciate you tuning in to the first review on this new channel. I'm hoping to grow this as a second channel, so please consider subscribing for more classic anime reviews, and recommend me anime that you'd like to see reviewed in the comments. If you also happen to like chill retro gaming content, check out my main channel. But alright, back to it. While it sounds like I've been ripping on it quite a bit, this is probably still my favorite anime series of all time. Quick little spoiler warning here for a 30-year-old show, but when Goku loses himself to unfathomable anger and grief, unleashing the power that lay dormant inside him against Frieza, confirming true all of the Saiyan legends and Frieza's worst fears in a burst of golden light, When Gohan, a scared child, put up against an insurmountable foe by a naive father trying to harness the hidden potential of a kid that doesn't even want to fight. When he finally snaps and lets the rage explode out of him, transforming, a harbinger of death for the overconfident Cell. These moments still stick with me, decades later, as some of the best media I've ever been exposed to. And the music you're hearing captures the emotions perfectly. Huge thank you to Gladius for letting me use it. His channel will be linked in the description, so please check him out. Yes, I do recommend this show, just with a few asterisks if it's your first time simply due to its age. But for those nostalgic for Dragon Ball, it's a no-brainer to rewatch. Please consider subscribing, and thanks again for stopping by.